Hey, English 101 students, Professor Norman here with a check-in for week 14. I want to keep this one relatively contained, relatively short, but I do have a couple of things that I want to share with you that I think will be really helpful for you to know, both as we finish up this week's work and also as we think about the end of the semester, which as I'm recording this is less than 2.5 weeks away. So we really want to make sure that we finish up as strong as possible. Of course, the main thing this week is our problem-solving proposal essay. Everything that we're doing is really working towards that, and I hope that it's going okay. I know some people are struggling, and that's very understandable. That happens a lot with a big argumentation essay, with a lot of research, with the counter arguments and refutations and all those kind of argumentative elements. I get that. I totally get that. I wanted to give you guys just a couple of kind of reminders, what I call my top 3 reminders for success on the problem-solving proposal essay. First of the top 3 reminders for success on the problem-solving proposal essay is to have a proposal. Have a clear, actionable proposal argument that solves the problem that you've been talking about, not just in this paper, but obviously in the last paper, and that we've been working on since midterm. What I've seen so far is that some people are really doing this and some people haven't quite taken that step. A proposal argument is a very specific type of argument. It's one where you encourage an action. It means that you are proposing something that needs to be done. Not just a way of thinking about something, though sometimes that's part of a proposal. It's more like an initiative, a change that needs to be enacted. So just like if I were doing my solar panels topic, if I were to say solar panels are really effective and they're going to continue to get better, so people should consider using them for their houses. Right? That's not really a proposal argument. That's kind of a perspective argument. That's kind of a quality argument. Right? Solar panels are good. But it's not really asking people to take a stand on anything. It's not asking people to do anything. So it's really important with your proposal element in this project. This is absolutely critical. It's that you propose something that needs to be done. And of course, I've mentioned in previous videos those 3 kind of categories that you might go to help you figure out a possible proposal. Or some sort of use of technology, some sort of education or ad campaign, some sort of way to raise awareness, or money. Putting money into something to make things better. And a lot of you guys, I think, are getting to this, but I think that it's something that I want everybody to just really make sure that they have, because if you don't have the proposal argument, your paper is not going to do very well. The other thing that I wanted to put out there as one of these top 3 reminders is just the source use requirement. And there are a couple of things in this little reminder that I want to highlight. Remember that this essay should have 4 sources. And that's 1 more than what you had to have for the problem essay. Now, many of you guys already had 4 sources, and that's great. Some of you guys are swapping out sources. That's also great. Just make sure that you have at minimum 4 sources, and you can have a couple more than that if you need. But 4, kind of that 4 to 6 range is a good range to have, but it has to be at least 4. And they should, of course, be in MLA format. I'm still catching a couple of works cited pages that are actually in APA format. We got to fix that. We use MLA in this class. And they need to be cited both in the paragraphs through those in-text citations and then also at the end in the works cited. By and large, I think everybody's got the idea of the works cited, although I have seen a couple where it's just a bunch of website links posted. But there have been a couple of papers with the problem essay where people did not actually integrate any of the information through a citation in the essay. And that is plagiarism. Right? Make no mistake about it. You're saying, oh yeah, no, I used the information. But if you don't tell me where you used the information through those citations, that is plagiarism. The third of my top 3 reminders for success on the problem-solving proposal essay is just about the thesis statement. Now, thesis statements are tough, and I've said that since the beginning of the semester, but it's one thing that we really want to try and make clear, because that is something that can really just shape the way that the reader understands what the purpose of the paper is all about. And in this case, it has to be an argumentative thesis statement, which we haven't had to do quite as strong in our other papers as we are in this one. Right? In previous papers, it was more like a reflective thesis statement or an analytical thesis statement, or last time it was an informative thesis statement. This time it's an argumentative thesis statement, which means that you are trying to convince somebody to do something. In this case, you're trying to convince them to accept your proposal argument. So remember that an argumentative thesis statement cannot, and I'm catching a couple people doing this, cannot be a question, cannot be an announcement, and it's not informative. Now you can incorporate an informative thesis statement into a persuasive thesis statement or an argumentative thesis statement just by adding in the proposal claim before or after the informative part. Right? So like my solar panels topic, if my informative thesis statement was that solar panels are getting better but still very expensive, weather dependent, and there are government obstacles, then that's a perfectly good informative thesis statement, but then I need to add that claim on there, right? So I have all that stuff, effective, weather dependent, still expensive, yada yada yada. So, or therefore, or something like that, some sort of good connection word that shows a causal relationship. Therefore, the government needs to increase funding to make solar panels better. And that's not probably the exact way that I worded it in some of my notes, but you get the idea, right? I have my claim, which is that the government needs to make the solar panels more funded. We got the reasons, which are all the stuff that I talked about in my problem essay, and I'm going to talk about it again in this paper, in the problem section. And then I also preview my essay topics because I'm going to talk about those things about the cost effectiveness, how they're getting better, weather dependency, and government obstacles. And of course, with my proposal claim, I'm previewing my proposal part of the paper. So it all really works well together. You have to have that, and it has to be the last sentence, maybe the last two sentences if you can't figure out how to get it to just one sentence. But it needs to be at the end of the introduction paragraph, or I might not see it. The self-review document, all the notes, all the examples, all those kinds of things are available on the Blackboard site. If you had a lot of trouble doing the outline, and or didn't do the outline, and you're just kind of like, man, I just don't even know what to do, or you got a bad grade on it or something, what I've done is I've gone ahead and posted some sample outlines from students this semester who did a really good job. I posted theirs, so maybe you can kind of see what some other possibilities are. Of course, we're past the outline stage. Don't worry about redoing it, or if you missed it, let's just move on. But in seeing the way that they made the notes, maybe it'll clear some things up. I encourage you to look at those. And of course, another top reminder, did I say top 3? I meant top 4. My top 4th reminder would be to get help if necessary, especially from places like the Writing Center. And this week is the best week to do it, especially as we're kind of wrapping up what is kind of the on-campus portion of our semester. They can help you with this stuff, especially if you go in with a really specific question. If you've got a copy of your paper, if you've got it on a flash drive or something like that, just say, I have not been able to figure out my thesis statement, and they'll help you with that. So I highly encourage you to make use of the Writing Center. And of course, I'll help you too, but a lot of times just a quick question through email has to be very focused. We can't be as hands-on with it. The Writing Center can be. And so while there's nothing new in those reminders, I just want to take the opportunity to challenge everyone to look back at their papers, whatever state they may be, or as you're continuing to draft them even, to make sure that you have those elements in there, and also that you are utilizing all the resources that are available to you, because that is going to make all the difference between whether this is something that just kind of barely passes or doesn't pass. And then that kind of like fine attention to detail is what moves it up from like maybe kind of like a passing grade, like that C range, to a B. And then the most polished papers, the ones that meet the criteria the most exact, the most precise, the most eloquently, those are the ones that get the A's. So just kind of keep that in mind. This is our last major assignment, so I am expecting some really good quality work if you want to get an A on the assignment. It is it's really important for that. Besides that, I wanted to share some information about the rest of our semester, because at least when I was a student, it was really helpful to kind of know, well, what do I have to check off to be done with a particular course? And that can be a very motivating thing. As far as the rest of the semester goes, here's what we've got going on. So this week, week 14, of course, our goal is to finish up the problem-solving proposal essay. That's the self-review, the final reflection, and the final submission. And then there's also the bonus assignment for this week, which is the grammar review, which you can do if you would like, but you do not have to do. You can do it also only if you have the English 101 workbook. That's the big book, not the green book. Next week is Thanksgiving week, and there's not going to be a lot that's due that week. The main idea there is to read the portfolio directions and watch a couple of videos. There'll probably be about 3 videos. One that overviews the entire portfolio, one that talks more specifically about the reflection task, and one that talks a little bit more about the revision tasks. And then so watch that stuff, read that stuff, and then you'll do a portfolio overview quiz. Those are the main things to do. And then there will be another one of these little bonuses, Scrim Review 3. But that'll be pretty flexible. There won't be a Wednesday, Sunday split. And there won't be a Wednesday, Sunday split for week 16 either. It's just all about finishing things up. And I know it looks like there are, 8 tasks or whatever, 7 or 8 tasks there. But it's really not that bad when you remember that we're talking about a lot of bonus opportunities. And so I've kind of made mention of this already in other places, but I want to give folks a chance to make up some points. Now, you're not going to be able to make up a ton of points, right? If you're in the 40-50% range, I don't know that there's enough makeup points here to get you up to the 70% range. Not saying it's impossible, but it's probably not likely. Obviously, our last week of the semester will be the last week that you can do some of these things. So reading reflection response number 3, that's one. And then there'll be another grammar review, and that'll also be from our workbook. There'll be a little wrap-up quiz for English 101. You can think about that like the bookend to the semester. The syllabus scavenger hunt was the beginning, and now this is the end. And then you've got 2 bonuses that relate to the portfolio assignment, which I'll talk about more next week when I introduce the portfolio assignment. But essentially, I've streamlined the required pieces of the portfolio so that if you want to do some extra pieces and get some bonus points for it, then that might be a good idea. The 2 that you will have to do, though, as it relates to the portfolio, will be the portfolio reflection and the portfolio revisions. Which I will obviously explain a lot more next week when you see those videos. But this is just to kind of give you a heads up as far as what we have left in the semester. We've got the 2 major things being the problem-solving proposal essay worth 150 points, and then the portfolio and will be kind of split right down the middle. The reflection part will be worth 75 points, and then the revisions collectively will be 75 points. So then that project will also be worth 150 points to kind of wrap up the semester. And then for finals week, we don't have anything. We don't have an exam or anything like that. We're just done. We're all finished. I hope that that's helpful to see that. In closing, this is probably our last check-in video for the semester. I will not have one next week. I may have one on the 16th week 16, but I don't know just yet. Sometimes I only do these, plan them out like a week at a time. You'll hear my voice in other ways, and you'll read my announcements. I will say goodbye at some point. We're not done yet, but I just hope that everybody, does well. And please let me know if there's anything I can do to help. Reach out through mnorman@binu.edu. Come by during the office hours. I will still have those on the days that school is in session, so that'll be Monday and Tuesday of next week, and then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of week 16, and I'll make all that clear in announcements. But that's plenty enough for right now. Good luck in finishing up the problem-solving proposal essay, and then on to the portfolio for us and the end of the semester. So good luck, take care, stay safe, stay healthy, stay as positive as possible.